Hi there, I'm Utopian Trainer. Now, one of the reasons I got into utopian work is because of a trilogy, the Mars trilogy by King Stanley Robinson. And one of the features of the trilogy is a conflict between the Reds and the Greens. Now, the Reds are people who wish to terraform Mars for human habitation. So they're doing things to change the atmosphere, to change the oxygen levels, to warm the planet up, yeah? And then you have the Greens who think, no, we're living here, we should adapt to the planet and try to live a natural life in accordance with the planet, yeah? And I'm not going to say how this is resolved, but one of the features of this story is that a kind of spirituality awakens where people begin to come together to show respect to the planet that they're living on, to do things like eating some of the dust, the clay, which is there, and basically we are on this planet, we should just respect it, yeah? Now, I find this a very good way of looking at utopias. So whatever kind of utopia that you have, if you're looking at what's happening with the climate, respect for the planet that we live on, I think, is essential. Yeah. Now, one thing I find as I'm getting older is that I am getting much more in touch with the Celtic wheel of the year. The thing is, I'm a Celt myself, yeah, being from Cymru. And it was from last year I began to, when I did some courses on nature, natural mindfulness, nature connection, and begin to incorporate this into my work. And with this, I began to celebrate the various festivals that happen in the Celtic wheel of the year. Now, the last festival we had was Calan Gaeaf, so in English called the winter solstice. And in between then, the time between then and now, there's been a time where it's been darker, it's been colder, it's been a time where there's been less nutritious food around, a time where we've been like maybe not as much having motivation or energy or inspiration, and therefore I've learned to accept this, to not push myself, yeah, to not think, okay, now I have to be totally like on the go. No, now has not really been the time of year for that. And I think this has been beneficial for my mental health. And it's just like in work, if you're working for changing society to make it more in accordance with your values, we can't just be like at it, always on the go. This is not sustainable for our bodies and not sustainable for our health, bodily and mental. The thing is, today is February the 1st, and in the Celtic wheel of the year, today is Imbolc. So a time in which one thinks that spring is coming, and one looks for signs of it. I mean, as I say, that the sun begins to come out here on an otherwise grey day here, yeah? And to look for signs, well, look, it's getting lighter now, isn't it? Well, here in the Northern Hemisphere anyway, yeah? To look for signs of maybe we're seeing flights of geese coming above, or to look, or maybe there's slight buds coming out, or snowdrops coming up. So there's all this kind of thing you can be looking for. The ground maybe is not as hard as it was. Now, this doesn't mean that necessarily this is the end of winter, yeah? You know how it is. Sometimes it gets a bit warmer, and then suddenly the snow comes again. Now, in old Celtic times, people would look out for badgers or for snakes to see if they came out of hibernation. And I'm not saying all natural connectedness forms in the world are the same, but in the United States, well, in North America anyway, there is this thing of Groundhog Day, where people go looking for groundhog to see, okay, they've come out with their burrows for the winter, looking above, seeing, oh, is it getting warmer now? And maybe going back, because maybe this would mean that winter will be here in the belief for another like 6 weeks, yeah? So maybe now isn't the time for you to get into more in a state of motivation, of energy. I mean, it's worth checking your vitamin D3 levels, I have to say that, because last year I realised I had a depletion of it, and that wasn't nice at all. But whatever your state of energy is at the moment, your level of inspiration, your level of motivation, spring is coming. And whatever it's like now, it will be a time when you will have more energy, yeah? The sun will be warmer, there will be more life, the birds will be coming back, the daffodils, the bluebells will be coming out, yeah? So on this day of Imbolc, I then recommend you to celebrate this, to welcome in the sun, to welcome in the energy, the motivation. And to do this by doing things like, well, eating the food from the last year, so the grains, yeah? So having some porridge or something like that, or eating any like fruits, yeah? Maybe even yellow fruits to symbolise the sun, or to, I mean, I'm going to do some pancakes, or as we say in Cymru, crempog for me and my kids later, and there's a peach jam from our allotment I'm going to be putting on top, yeah? So doing these things to welcome in the sun, to welcome in the energy, regardless of how you're feeling at the moment. But looking for these signs in nature, looking for these signs of the upcoming springness, and training yourself to see the light, training yourself to see the softer ground, training yourself to see maybe the things in nature that you don't otherwise see. In my nature connectedness, when I do these activities with people, often after them they've noticed things in nature they've not seen before. So how about maybe you go for a walk today, just to look, what signs of spring do you see? As well as like doing things like the food that I was talking earlier, yeah? Lighting candles to welcome in light, yeah? Wearing yellow, like I'm doing here, to symbolise the sun, yeah? So with that, I'm going to wish you Imbolc hapus, or in English, happy Imbolc. Have a nice day, everyone. Bye.